Hello, my name is Cthulhu, or Monster. I play on Pilpo's Patreon server, and I'm doing my Gravitas 2 Let's Play series here. This is my second mini that I plan to do, and I'm going to show you how to find ores in the world. So I keep my waystones, I play on a server, so I keep my waystones private, and normally at the very back of the very back here. And a tip I was shown that is if you hold shift and press up, it'll throw it at the very front of the pages. And it also works with navigation. So I'm going to hold shift here. So these were my miners. You could tell I didn't quite have them listed on what's correct here. So I'm going to grab this one. And this is further to the north of our base. So this is the village here. So this one is up in this direction. So excellent. Okay, superconductor is kind of cheap. I'll have to take a look at that. All right, I don't want to go towards the base because I've already done that. So I'm going to just take a quick walk here. Oh, that reminds me, I need to unclaim these chunks. These were just claimed so I could run my miner. And I am pretty low on steam right now, so I'm going to try to make sure the server sleeps when we can. But yeah, so sometimes what you can do is turn on your chunks as you walk just to make sure you're tagging in one chunk because you kind of have that 25 to 25 radius, which is just, a chunk is 16 blocks. So it's a little bit over that. All right. And one thing to note is just because this one might find nothing, this one finds traces of borax, nothing. You might find another mineral. It's only telling you one mineral at a time. So if you know there's a ton of minerals in a space, it can be a little bit tough if you don't take a few samples within that. All right, so I got nothing. And yeah, I just kind of walk as I go here and see if I find anything of interest when I first started out. So I have no idea what I'm going to see. It's been a bit since I've gone prospecting. And remember, with the 25 to 25, you are going to be looking at the first layer. Oh, so oil sands. I always need oil sands. So a very large sample is great to hear. Um, very large is the largest one I've seen. I think it's like 80, telling us it's seeing 80 blocks of that within the range, but it's not necessarily the exacts. So there's a few ways to do this. So I got a very large sample here. My favorite way to use the prospector is to treat it like a game of Minesweeper, where I'm actually trying to find the uh, mines. So here, I'm having a very large sample and I'm going to look at it in all four directions. So let's go over here first. Okay, still large. And this can be tough if you have just um, a massive vein, but it does mean that if you do find the beginning of it, so I'm looking for traces to start. So I know that traces is where it first shows up. I'm actually looking at the first time it switches to traces. So traces is when it has less. So traces there, traces, nothing, nothing, medium. So this is my first traces. And false negatives are a thing in this pack. That's what the accuracy is about. All right, so what I want to do now is go in the complete opposite direction and figure out when my first traces come into play. So I'm going to run this line here. It's very large, so it looks like a really good size vein, which is great. Okay, very large, medium, small, nothing. Okay, so I'm just going to quickly take a look here. So traces are on the outside, and this is nice to see. If you don't have a prospector, seeing the small malachites is kind of like what I'm doing here. And I always just identified where the most of those are. So I am seeing traces on this one and this one. So I'm going to assume this is a false negative here. So those are the 2 points I know where along this route, there's the vein of oil sands. So what I'm going to do is take my shovel typically, and I'll try to count this out. I'm one of those people where I just can't do math verbally really well. So I'll do like 1, 2, 3, 4, and I'll know that's the fifth one. So 1, 2, 3, 4, that's the fifth one. So that's kind of helps me with the 10. If that's not, if you count well in a different fashion, that's great. I don't. And it's something I've always not been able to focus on. So doesn't mean you can't get a career in math like I have. So this is a fifth one here. So that's 4, 5. And what you're trying to do is find the spot in the middle before you look in the other direction. And however you do your markings, it's up to you. Whether or not you even need markings, some folks are really good at that math. Okay, so I know I went 10 in both directions there, so I'm just going to do 10 again. So 4, 5, 1, 2, 4, 5. And I'll switch up how I do my markings depending. Sometimes I just um, do the torch there. So 1, 2, 3, 4, and this will be a 5. Okay, so I'm getting close to the middle here. So I got 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 1. Okay, so this is my middle. I'm just going to put this here and replace that with this and grab my torches back. So now we're going to do the exact same thing. We know the middle in this axis, so now we're going to look for the middle in this axis here. And it definitely is a little bit tricky for what you're up to, but due to terra firma having so much gravity-based stuff, hey, yeah, donkey, I think it's really a good way to reduce your wasted efforts. So you can see I'm still at a large scale here. And some veins are, what I would consider fat and skinny. Others are just more of like a round one. And, we'll see how it shapes up. So this one found nothing. That looks just like a false negative here. So keep on going. Okay, still there. And this definitely is showing up as a very large field. It also has lignite, which is the type of coal I use for my forge, which is great. Okay, we finally went down to large, so that's great. Small, oop, gravity will definitely get you. And I think I'm gonna have a little bit of a tough time on this side because it's showing immediately over into coal. So it's now just going to be reading the coal. So I think I might just go from the small. Oh, there's my traces. Haha, no worries. It's not as bad as I thought it was going to be. So now I'm going to go to the other side. All right. Going to the other side here. All right. And grab my pick. Wander out here. Yeah, found nothing. Maybe it's I wasn't centered on this axis as much. So let's see here. And that's why you want to take a look at this, is there's no guarantee your first look is centered on that axis. So this is my first traces here. So I'm going to put down my guy here. So if I were playing Minesweeper, I have an indicator, a really close indicator, that if I go outside that bound, I'm not going to see oil sands. If I go outside that bound, I'm not going to see it. I'm not going to see it if I go this direction either. So what I'm really going to want to do is narrow down my efforts within these black columns of concrete here. So once again, because of our math, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4. Hey, I'm pretty good to put that exactly at 5 there. I'm going to go to the other columns because that's 10 I went in. So you can see, whoa, I definitely was not centered in that direction. All right, 1, 2, 3, 4, and then 5. And this is the way I do it. So definitely don't feel like, if you have suggestions of a different way, 100% let me know. I would love to learn more. At this point, we need to start looking at ratios smaller than sets of 5, is what I mean by that. So I'm going to go and add 1, 2, 3 here. 1, 2, 3. Add 1 to that side, 1 to that side. Here's my center. So this is my proper center for, well, probably, one of these is my proper center for this. So this is where if I were to do a prospector, to do a normal type of mine, I would dig in my my 3x3 here with supports. Nothing is just a line of ores all the way down. So I'm gonna put my name on this because I am on a server. All right. So if I were to be using the drill now I would use this to find out where a good portion of this is directly down. You can see there is a wait time on this, so you can't just be hitting down as fast as the last one. So this is really a good spot here that I could potentially dig in. Ooh, traces of malachite. Ooh, that's a really good spot right there. So, well, let's I really don't want to manually dig, but yeah, let me see what I have here. I'm going to grab my supports. I will dig the hole, but I'm going to put up my manual miner. That's what I'm going to say there. So I am going to grab some supports, and I like to grab some blocks that aren't susceptible to gravity. So that's what these black concretes are. And then we're going to need ladders. All right. Which one do I want? I have a ton of sticks. Oh, Case here. Okay. So there's two ways you can go about digging a mine. I tend to do a 3 by 3 just because I find it comfortable. But I also have found that a 3 by 1 isn't too bad. And I'm also going to want to keep my prospector out. So let me just see what elevation we're at. So we're at 67 here, and I know that there should be large oil within 25. And if I just do a quick math, which I'm definitely bringing up my calculator here. So we're at 65 minus 25. So I shouldn't have to go below 40. And to be honest, I shouldn't have to go below, um, so yeah, I shouldn't have to go below 40 to find these oil sands. Hopefully they'll be even closer here. Uh, hey, look, there we go. We got oil sands. All right, so I hope that helps on my process of using the prospectors. If there's other ones methods people use, please do feel free to let me know. I'd love to learn. And hopefully this will help you find your ores a little bit better in this world. The next mini I plan to do is about mining supports. And feel free to let me know if there's anything else you'd like me to talk about. Otherwise, I hope you enjoy. Take care.